Don't sue us, don't sue us. We're just having a small laugh, talking about Severance, unofficial. Yes, we are, yes, we are. Me and David Hammond, SevHeads, SevHeads. You're listening to SevHeads, SevHeads. Hello there. You are very welcome to SevHeads, the unofficial Severance recap podcast brought to you by Flop Culture. Season 2 is finally here. Can you believe it? I can't. I'm Fionnuala and I'm here with my co-host, David Hammond. Can you believe it?
Oh my God, welcome back everybody. This is fantastic. I didn't think we'd be here ever. 3 years we just waited. 3 years. It's here.
How did you feel when you woke up and watched the episode?
God, it was just like a warm hug, a nice cup of tea, but like the tea was like filled with LSD or something. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just that kind of, it was just a warm hope, but also like, this is mental, right? I loved it. God, it was amazing. It was such a welcome back, I thought.
Every time I thought about it, you know when they did the pop-up in Grand Central Station where they were like acting as their characters?
I
and
was
like
wondering, were you seeing any of this because you're not on Twitter? So I was
it was
like,
all on Instagram, yeah.
Right, okay, because I was like, I can't send it to her. But then you said you'd seen it. But oh my God, that was incredible marketing.
When I saw that, I got such bad FOMO and felt so physically sick. I thought, how much would it cost to get me to New York right now?
Just to see
I was going to bed, like it was happening in New York, and I was like, but if I just, it was insane.
It was so cool.
Like the parasocial relationships I'm having with these people are really frightening because I keep seeing them and being like, they're my friends. And it's like, they're not.
It's crazy though, because a lot of people were saying online, like Apple do not market their TV shows, like at all. And then they just went with this marketing campaign for Severance season 2, and you're like, what? Why?
Well, good. Thank God,
I know.
Apple.
Dead right.
I know you have enough money, but I need more people to be watching this.
I completely agree. The last 24 hours, because 24 hours ago I watched the season 2 episode 1, and I've had no one to talk about it with. Because like my mates are texting me because we keep posting about this podcast, and they're like, will I watch it? I'm like, obviously.
I know people keep saying to me, and they're like, is this worth watching? I'm like, no, I'm actually just doing a podcast for the fucking crack. It's why I can't stop making TikTok videos about it. It's because I don't actually think it's worth the shite.
So
you haven't converted many people. That's I feel like I've converted a good few.
So there was one of my mates was just like, oh, I tried to watch it before but couldn't get past like 20 minutes. And I was like, and he was like, but I like your opinion, so I'm going to go back and watch it. So I was like, okay, do that. And then a couple of other people I've been like, oh, okay, I'll give it a go, but they haven't really come back to me.
Okay.
I have this feeling that, not this feeling, but like I have this theory that I'm living in the Severance world where I'm like, I just get it. I totally understand it. And I understand that coming from an outside perspective, you may not get it, but you just have to give yourself time. But I just remember the first time, I said this on this podcast before, I remember the first time I ever watched this podcast, I was hooked within 10 minutes. Easy. I was there. So I don't understand what people are doing wrong, but it seems like their fault.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. No, we're right. No, it's the children who are wrong. We're doing a podcast on the subject of podcasts. I don't know if you've listened to the official Severance podcast that has since come out with our good friends Ben Stiller and Adam Scott. Ben Stiller, please come on the podcast. Please come on the podcast. If you want to talk about Severance, let's talk about Mystery Men, okay? That's all I want to talk about with you. Have you listened to any of it?
No.
Okay, I have listened to almost all of it.
Okay.
Lots of interesting tidbits. I won't relay everything because I do think it's worth, if anyone's listening and wants to go back and listen to it themselves. The pilot was almost very different. So it actually was going to be a bit more like whimsy and more funny.
Oh.
And it was actually following, you know, the way in the first episode we're following like Helly initially being severed. Mm-hmm. It was actually going to focus on Mark being severed.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting. Some other tidbits that I learned from it.
I like the way that we follow Helly because with Mark, I feel like if we were to follow Mark being severed, I feel like we wouldn't know what's going on at all.
Yeah.
And I suppose we'd be learning as we go. But I like the way we follow Helly because it's almost as if we're in the know about like what's happening. Do you know what I mean?
But
I don't know.
It's the dual protagonists, which I think is good. This is kind of typical for TV shows, but they shot everything out of order. Okay. So like they found it, like they didn't know because obviously it ends on the last 2 episodes of season 1 are such cliffhangers. They didn't really know how people were going to react to that.
Okay.
The way they do the shooting of when they go from innie to outie is like they have a camera on a whatever it is, like a dolly, and it's like zooming in, but they got physical cameras moving out. So that's how they get that really cool effect.
Yeah, very cool.
Irv's outie's dog is called Radar in the show. It's called Ditto in real life, and it was also in Succession.
No way.
Yeah. So there you go. Very famous dog actor.
Who does it play?
Who does it play? I don't think they say it. I'm trying to remember who had dogs in Succession. I can't remember. Someone will correct me on that now. I'm showing it's very much giving friendship ended with Succession. Now Severance, my new best friend. But there are other tidbits. I won't.
Oh, I feel like there was a dog in Succession at like the start, the very first episode where they go to play baseball or something.
Yeah, I think there might have been dogs around there, but I can't remember. But shout out Ditto. Maybe Ditto will come on the podcast. Ditto seems more attainable now at this point. Jon Stewart is also, I think, in the background of one of the at the end of season 1 where Helly's at the conference to like promote Severance.
Remind me.
Jon Stewart he does the Daily Show, and he's the comedian.
Oh yeah,
I feel like you know him to see if it's not coming to you right now, but he's like he's a guest on the podcast as well, and he's very
cool.
I would recommend. Now I will say they also do really weird ads for AI, which feels counterintuitive to what the show is about. But I digress. We all need the money. Season 2, episode 1. Whew. We are so back. What is the episode called? Why haven't I brought this up again?
Hello, Miss Cobel.
Hello, Miss Cobel. It is indeed called Hello, Miss Cobel.
A bit of a weird title.
Do you think?
Yes, because she's not in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was just so excited when I saw it.
Let's come back to that, and maybe we'll talk about what we think's going on with her later on, because we open with Mark. So obviously at the end of season 1, it's the innies have been turned on the outside. So they're in the outside world and they're trying to figure things out. Irv has realised that Bert has a different partner on the outside. Helly realises that she is in fact an Egan relative and is being used to promote Severance. She's become the face of Severance on the outside world. Mark realises that Mark's outie wife, Gemma, is Miss Casey. Mm-hmm. And he is running through this party that we were last seen at, Rickon's party or whatever, for his book. He's shouting, she's alive. But we don't see any of this. This is actually the first episode where it's entirely innie. Yeah. So it's Mark's innie waking up and he's back in work. And he is running like Tom Cruise, as he has said. He studied Tom Cruise for this run, which I thought was very interesting. And I think you can see it in the hands.
You can see it.
It's very like karate chop hands.
But it's what an opening sequence.
Where did you think he was going?
I thought that maybe... In my head, and it's obviously wrong, but in my head when I was first watching it, I thought, oh, they've changed everything. The rooms are different. So that's why he can't find his way. Because the first season where he's walking towards his office, he knows the way straight away. He's not walking or running in any manic way. So I thought maybe they changed the rooms around or something like that. And that's why he couldn't find his room. But obviously, he went straight to wellness. Which
is not where I thought he was going, which, again, seems so obvious when it's like, and again, they explain this on the podcast as to why they did that. Like,
why would he go to wellness, though?
Because he's wondering if, like, he's gone back to see Miss Casey and, like, question this and be like, why are you a dead woman on the outside? But instead, you're in here kind of being a little freak, respectfully, lighting candles. What's going on, girl?
But the last time we saw Miss Casey, she was like, I've been fired. I'm let go. I'm gone. Bye.
Did Mark know that?
He did.
Yeah, sorry. Sure, they had a conversation where she was like, because they had their last wellness session. Yes.
Yeah, and she was like, telling him loads of things, and he was just like, I don't care about this. Like, how can I fix this? Like, how can I save your job? Do you know what I mean? So I thought it was weird that he went to a wellness.
It was just an act of desperation,
Maybe.
Just not knowing what else to do. Yeah, I've written down, it's like he knows where he's going, but everything is different and the music is insane. One thing I wanted to write down, he runs past a purple office.
Yes, I saw this.
We haven't talked about colour that much in this series, and I want to come back to it when I've dug into it a little bit more, but there are a lot of theories around colour and what different colours represent. I think I've talked about red and blue and how they appear in different ways, but like purple seems to be coming up a lot, and blue and green. He runs past a purple office.
Red and blue mixed together is purple, I'm pretty sure.
Oh. It is?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But the purple office, I like noticed it and I was like, okay, write that down and talk about that with Fionnuala, but also not much happened. It's just an office space with a purple carpet.
I will say, I feel like...
Or is it puce?
Is this podcast sending us a bit QAnon?
Yes. Absolutely.
I think it is.
Yeah, no, you're dead right. Dead right.
Let's come back to the purple office, but I did have that written around. Yeah, so he's run to wellness. they've changed. Like wellness is barely like legible on the wall. Like they seem to have just totally moved it around or whatever. And then you have such a scary scene. I'm actually remembering it now, where the camera is like rotating around Mark, and you see like Milchick in the hallway.
Is it Milchick?
Looking at him. I think it's Milchick. Did you think it was someone else?
I didn't think it was Milchick.
I thought it was Milchick.
I almost got vibes of the guy who was Cobel's boss. Grainer. I kind of got that vibe because he seemed very, very tall. And
I didn't think he was as broad as Grainer though.
I thought he had grey hair or something. I don't know. I couldn't really see him.
Maybe it's someone we haven't met yet.
Maybe it is. But I didn't think it was Milchick.
Okay.
I really didn't.
Okay.
But open to correction on that. It may well have probably make sense if it was him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we see that, but then Mark goes back to the office, right?
But the guys aren't there. Who's there instead?
Mark W., a woman that we later learn is called Gwendolyn Y., and an Italian man named Dario Orr. So those are the three people. And I obviously it was a little bit like, wow, this is cool, new people, but also where's everyone? And I was sad that they weren't there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, because obviously I'd seen them from the trailer as well. So I was like, right, they're going to just get rid of the others and make Mark start again for whatever reason. Or I thought, because we've talked about last season how we believe that maybe Mark has been like reset before, if it's possible to reset the severed, the innie, that because they're picking up things kind of quickly and they're able to see things in certain ways. So from just looking at the trailer, I was like, okay, so they're just going to reset him, but it must come back, and they're just giving him a new team. But what happens to the others? But it seems like this team have been together for a while, as we learn, because Gwendolyn and Mark W., they're kind of like, they bicker a lot, and Mark W. talks about, as you mentioned, they're a macro data refinement department as well.
Yes.
And they said that this office is a lot more cramped, and the carpets were creme brulee, but he said the keyboards were pukes, and it said it made him feel sick.
What's pukes? Is pukes
I think
purple?
It's kind of purple, yeah.
So I wonder, were they down in the hall?
Yeah, and again, I'm kind of slightly skipping ahead, but later on we learned that like they never made quota.
Yeah.
Mark W, their team never really got on in the way that like Mark S's he basically cops that like Mark S really misses the old team, and he's like, he can't relate because it's like we never got on with ours.
He hated his team. Yeah. Mark W hated his team.
So I'm like, what? Why were those three people picked? Obviously, I know they're macro data refiners, but like still, why were those three people picked? Like, what was going on there? I'm like very curious about them.
Are they similar to our team? Like, I'm calling them our team, but
they are our team. They're our friends. I've already said.
Mark W is giving Irv. You know what I mean? The woman is giving. It's Gwendolyn is giving Dylan. And I suppose you couldn't really say that the Italian man Dario Orr is giving Helly or Mark.
Hard
really
to place him anywhere, yeah. Interesting.
I don't know.
Very interesting.
But I did get vibes off Gwendolyn as Dylan because she's interested.
She's obsessed with the outside world. Yes. And when she learns that Mark has gotten out, she's like, so what was it like?
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
But
that's why I'm wondering, is it like there's something about them that it's like, have you broken protocol before about like digging into stuff and that? But then I'm like, why would you put them into a room with someone who's essentially, what's the word? Had an uprising, but like rebelled.
Oh, yeah, revolted, yeah.
Revolted was actually the word. You're dead right. Thank you for helping with my English brain. It's failing. Anyway, this introduction is happening, and who comes in? Mr. Milchick, Tremel Tillman, the man that you are. Come on the podcast, please. He is. I said this off air. He is fine this season. He's got the beard.
There's not a flaw in that man. He is stunning, but he's just fantastic and plays it so well. Like, he's so creepy. Yeah. Just excellent.
He's wearing blue as well.
He is, yeah.
Which maybe we'll come back to. But he has a load of balloons that are blue.
Been a minute.
And they have Mark's face on them, and he says, been a minute.
Oh, that sends shivers down my spine. Been a minute.
Huge smile on his face. So that's when he takes Mark off and he's trying to explain to him. He says that the uprising, like them, you know, the contingency, whatever, and them doing that happened 5 months ago. Yes. Do you believe that?
I never thought of it. Yes, I probably do believe that because those three characters seemed bet into that place, into where they're sitting now. They have their I'm talking Mark W. and Gwendolyn and Dario. They seem to know. Well, although Dario asked where they keep the pens, so maybe they're very new to the place.
See, I initially just believed it like wholeheartedly. And now I'm kind of like, and I've been reading a couple of other things, and I think some things were said in the Patreon chat. It doesn't, even if you look at Milchick, and again, I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but like he's taken over from Cobel. He's taken over Cobel's position. We'll come back to that in a second. He still seems like quite stressed out about being in that position and like what needs to be, like it's still like he's trying to get to grips with the job.
Yeah.
5 months is so long, you know,
is.
and I don't know if they would need 5 months to do this cover up in some ways, because they're able, when I say they, I mean Lumen, like they seem to be able to move very quickly with stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Like get builders down to make the doors and things like that with overnight. Like.
Yeah.
You're right. I don't know what benefit it would be to say it was 5 months if it hadn't been 5 months.
Yeah.
Milchick has a beard now.
Yeah. Does it take 5 months to grow a beard?
It takes me longer.
Okay. How long would it take you?
No, I suppose you could grow a beard in a couple of weeks. Like.
Yeah.
I don't know what benefit they'd get out of saying it was 5 months, to be honest. So, and honestly, I'd be a sucker if I worked for Lumen. I'd just believe everything they say. 5 months, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I believe you.
So Milchick's kind of explaining what happened, but
he
not
won't
really.
answer any questions.
He's not answering any questions directly, but he talks about like this, what they did, and describes it as the most painful moments in the history of the company.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah.
And is that when he shows them the newspaper?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So
did you notice anything there?
Yeah. He shows Mark S. By the way, I've been looking at everyone's tweets, and some of them are so funny. Someone was like, the S in Mark S stands for Severance. I really enjoyed that. And I can't stop
just like the
it.
brain exploding gif, like.
So Mark S. Is given the newspaper by Milchick, and in the newspaper is a black and white photo of a parade of people, and there's 4 people standing up in like a convertible car, and it's the 4. It's Helly, it's Dylan, it's Irv, it's Mark, and the headline is like heroes. They actually have the headline here. The headline is, it's
like a presidential. What is that called? A cavalcade.
Innies blow the whistle, and it's basically an article that says like, oh, they're whistleblowers and they've blown it wide open.
Yeah, they've highlighted the issues that are going on with Severance. But the photo,
yes,
God, that's very familiar looking, isn't it?
The photo of all of them is their key cards, their ID. It's not taken as if like it was just in the street and people took a photo. The photo is their faces on these bodies, but the faces are often their key cards that they use for work in Lumen. Someone has a photo, as someone has tweeted, the photo is a presidential photo as well. They just photoshopped it in. So the photo is actually originally from like an American president.
That's what I was thinking, because it's giving Kennedy. You know what I mean?
It's giving Kennedy. Thought,
so is it like, could it be their group photo as well, just spliced up? You know the group photo they got when Helly started?
Yes. Yeah.
Because Mark's face looks the exact same in that. But then it's just, they probably have so many photos they can just copy paste. It's like Cobel, like Milchick frantically on the Photoshop, just like
but sure,
duplicate.
Milchick is constantly taking photos.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, you're dead right.
What a little pervert.
Yeah. So that's exactly what it is. It's fake.
Yeah.
So, and he says they're famous on the outside.
Yeah. But Mark is like, fair enough, but like, where are the rest of them? Why am I the only one here?
Yeah.
So he's brought to Milchick's office, formerly Miss Cobel's office. I will say it's gotten a lick of paint. It looks fucking great.
It does look well.
Milchick has a great eye for interior design.
He does, yeah.
I will say. And we're also introduced to Miss Wong, who is now taking over, who's now Milchick.
Miss Wong is 8.
Miss Wong is 8. Miss Wong is a child.
A child. What's going on?
What's going on? Well, we talked about this last season about, and you referenced it very smartly, because at that time we had the trailer and we saw Miss Wong in the trailer, but we obviously didn't know her position, and we know it now. And at the time we were talking about like the ability to could you do it? Could you sever children, or like how do you do that? No, I don't think Miss Wong is severed, because Milchick isn't severed.
I don't think she's severed because we know her surname.
Yes.
Miss Cobel, Mr. Milchick, Miss Huang, Miss is Casey.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Miss Casey.
No.
But there's something.
Story's still out on that.
There's something going on with the surnames. If we know their surnames, in my head, there's something going on.
Yeah. But then why hire a child? Do you think? Okay, let's cut to the chase here.
Let's cut to the chase.
Do we think she's connected to anyone in there?
It could be. I said in season 1, it could be Miss Cobel's daughter. Charlotte Cobel, I want to say.
Okay.
Who, because in season 1, just to go back to it, Miss Cobel is seen like crying over a hospital tag for what we could just presume is a child, and it says Charlotte Cobel.
Now, I will say, prior to recording, I was talking to Adam about, because he's obviously producer Adam, he's rewatched since, and we were talking about that, and he reckons the date of birth is too old to be a child.
Right, okay.
It's like 1944, so he reckons might be a man. Might be Cobel's mom.
Okay, interesting. Right.
But I do still think...
I don't know why I thought it was a child.
I thought it was a child as well, to be honest, because it was the whole thing of her being good with babies and like wanting to be close to Marx's and like that weird thing, whatever. And sorry, we should also say in this when Milchick is talking about this uprising, he says like, yeah, Miss Cobel is gone. We know she had contact with your outie, and like that was a bit weird. And her whole thing was, actually, I thought this was hilarious. She's talking about how he's basically saying that like, oh, Miss Cobel wanted to have a throuple with your innie and your outie.
Yeah, that's so weird.
He's like, Miss Cobel was a sex deviant. We had to get rid of that bitch.
What's with the terminology though? It's not a throuple. Like you're one person.
The same person. Yeah,
it's so weird.
I don't know.
I thought that was very, very odd.
So to answer your previous question, I actually. The Miss Wong, or to maybe answer even my own question, I'm not really sure if she's necessarily definitively connected to anyone in there, but the whole thing of it being a child is weird.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to come back up.
Do you think though that she's someone's child, or do you think that they have made her?
Oh God.
You know what I mean? Like, is that like that seems to be?
Oh, I think you're onto something.
I know I'm probably jumping forward a little bit, but I'm just saying we have no idea what this company really does, and I wouldn't put it past them to somehow make this child. Maybe from, I don't know, like the genes of Miss Casey or something like that. I don't know.
You know what they were talking about again on the official podcast, and I don't know how much they were entertaining this or whether they were just floating, like, because obviously they're like so into the subreddits and the theories and stuff, and they've been like quashing kind of a couple of theories and stuff. There is a question around like, is it cloning? Is it something to do with that? Because you obviously had like the goats as well in last season, and we know previously from real life that they were able to successfully clone sheep and stuff, and sheep and goats, aware they're not the same animal, but they're not also a million miles away from each other.
But there you go. That's what I thought. It's animal testing was the goats.
Yeah. So yeah, that's when we also learned the team isn't fired, but Mark's outie was like I want to go back to work. Was like adamant about going back to work.
Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. Irving, Helly, and Dylan refused to come back. So it wasn't they were fired; it was that they refused to come back.
Yeah.
But outie Mark insisted that he come back, and I actually have written down so much blue in this episode, which again I need to look into the colour more and come back to it. But do you believe that? Do you believe outie Mark switched back on at that party and was like, I feel terrible, I need to go back to work, like this is weird, everything's weird? Or what do you think has happened?
The only reason I think that Mark S would want to go back to work is to talk to Miss Casey. But as I said earlier on, he knows Miss Casey's gone. He had his last wellness session with her. So I don't really understand that bit. I don't know why he'd want to go back to work, especially seeing as we left him in season 1, the end of season 1, saying to his sister Devon, I'm done. I think I want to get out of Lumen. You know what I mean? But
he's starting to question everything, like.
Exactly. So why would he, as his outie, want to go back to work, knowing all of this? Like him and his innie are connected as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me why he'd want to go back to work. It also doesn't make any sense to me why Irving wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Would Irv? I feel like Irv would want to get back to work. I feel like
Yeah, but again, remembering where Irv was at the end of last season, like as much as he did start as such a workhorse and so dedicated to the cause, whatever the capital T, capital C cause is, you're seeing him grow more and more disillusioned with Lumen and Keir.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the love and the feeling of love and his connection with Bert replaced whatever, like...
But is that more powerful than Mark's thoughts?
Yeah. Work was his fulfillment, and then love and the relationship with Bert became his fulfillment. Because you used to remember the scene where he like closes the egg on the key,
yes,
on the handbook.
That's true, actually. You think that was the end of his love for Keir.
And you even see it when he, again, slightly skipping ahead, but when we do meet them again, like he doesn't want to be there. You know, like he has no purpose anymore as far as he's concerned.
That's a really good point, actually, yeah. But, well, to be honest, then none of them want to be back there.
Yeah.
Why would Mark rush? He was the one who wanted to be back all of a sudden straight away. Doesn't make any sense to me.
But maybe it's also a thing of like Mark is now too powerful, and because of what we know about that there is some connection to Miss Casey and Gemma, is there a thing of like knowing too much, and it's like better the devil you know what I mean? Like you could feasibly let go of
and
the other three in some ways because they don't seem to have like that internal connection which Mark does. Like Mark seems to be a part of a wider game they're playing or wider plan that they have.
But now outie Mark, can I ask a question?
No.
Stupid question.
Yeah, you can.
Does outie Mark now know what innie Mark does?
No. Because they're not connected.
They're not connected. But just innie Mark now knows what outie Mark does?
Yeah.
Now, I want to see that. I want to see outie Mark unlocked
on the severed floor.
On the severed floor.
I think that's what we're going to get this season. I think we're going to have to.
That'd be great.
I don't know how you figure that out, though. But
if that's the case, then I stand by what I said. Why would he want to go back? I would understand it if he had the thought of, I want to see my wife again, you know? But he doesn't know. I suppose Devon probably told him. Why didn't they pick up right there and then? That's what I want to know. I want to know exactly what happened specifically after.
You know the way you saw with Petey with the reintegration sickness? Was it a thing of like they collapsed or something after they came to, you know what I mean? Like they fainted or something. So then it's a thing of like, there's not really you go back to the hospital and Mark's like, again, I'm sure we'll see this in episode 2 and I look like a big fucking fool on this podcast. But like, it's a thing of, now, I think from what I've seen from the trailer and of like show clips, I think Devon is actually more on the, we need to get you out of Lumen, something weird is going on. And I think Mark, like, but I'd say, is it a thing of like, you come through and you're like, God, that was a weird thought. Because obviously it is their same they share a consciousness, but like, you know what I mean?
Someone online had a theory about the reintegration.
Hit me.
Did you see this?
No.
Do you remember, I can't remember her name for the life of me, I'm sorry.
Regabi.
Yes.
The doctor.
Regabi, the doctor who did the reintegration.
Yeah.
She was the one who, took out not took it out, but basically she gave your memories back. And do you remember she said, Petey didn't follow my instructions and that's why he died, basically. Someone said that they think the instruction is you need to go back to work. You need to continue going to the severed floor. So that... But
work as an unsevered person.
Well, you'll still have the chip kick in when you get down to the severed floor.
Okay.
But you'll start to merge both memories.
Oh.
As you go in and out of the severed floor. So he said, or someone online was like, that's what I think the strategy is once you become reintegrated. You need to actually continue going back to work. Whereas Petey got too afraid and didn't.
Yeah.
And so he was getting all of this all of a sudden of two worlds colliding or two memories colliding, and that's why he couldn't handle it. Whereas he needed to go back to Lumen.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think Mark is going to go back to Regabi and they're going to have some kind of plan and she's going to drill into whatever to be able that it's like deactivated. And that's when we're going to see Mark in the outie Mark in the innie world.
Interesting.
But that all remains to be seen. We're so far ahead of our brains are too big for this show. But anyway, so he goes back to work. Anyway, we're back with Marcus and he's back working with this new MDR. And Gwendolyn is obsessed with this idea that he has been outside and he's seen outside and she's like asking him about it and she's asking about the sky. And the Italian guy doesn't seem to really care. And this is when also we learn about their branch. So the branch shut down. Mark W. actually thought he'd be permanently retired. So he seems to have been there for ages.
He's happy to be there though, isn't he?
Yeah, he seems to be happy. So then again, I'm like, do you know what happens when you're retired? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We still don't fully know. We can presume it's not good.
No.
We can presume it's something to do with that black elevator. Mark is trying to get on with work and trying to do it. But in the midst of this, he's also seeing like the photo of Gemma and like everything's starting to be like a bit scrambled. What do you think's going through his head here? Do you think he's like, or what did you think was going to happen? Did you think he was going to enact the plan that we see him do? Or do you think he was going to actually try and give this his best effort to like carry on and maybe try again?
I don't think I think from the second he was in that elevator, he was refusing to play the game anymore. He was going to pretend to play the game, like be all nicey nice and things like that. But no, he has a plan. His plan is not to just go back to work. There's something else. He does play the game well enough, like he's nice to people or whatever, but he's not like overly nice. Like, do you remember when he first meets Helly? And he's just like, hey, welcome. And, you know, everything's fine. And don't worry about a thing. And you can do this if you want to. He wasn't like that with them. He was just like, all right. Yeah. This is just, he was just accepting, I think, his fate for in that moment. But I don't know if he's ready to go back to work. I don't think he's like there to do work.
Yeah. They play that ball game again, but it's Miss Huang leading it. And it's a smaller red ball. And this is where you see like Mark's like, okay, so I can either stay here and play the game, or like maybe not, or like just keep working, or I can figure it out, whatever. So that's when he does the whole, you think he's going to say something else, because obviously they do it. We saw with Helly in Helly's season that it was like, oh, they had to say a fact about themselves. And he's like, oh, I made 4 new friends today. And Miss Wong's like, I'm a supervisor, not a friend.
But see, that right there is Mark playing the game.
Yeah.
And we know he doesn't believe that. We know he doesn't actually think he's met 4 new friends today. But that's exactly what Mark S. would have said in episode 1, season 1. He's a different person now. He doesn't trust Lumen. He doesn't trust the people around him in terms of management and things like that. So all of a sudden he's starting to play this game again. But he's pissed off, I think, when she's like, just to let you know, I'm not your friend, I'm your supervisor.
Yeah, there's kind of a lingering...
He's like, girl, I didn't mean that in the first place anyway. I don't care.
Girl, I don't want to be friends with your 8-year-old ass. Literally. What do I have in common with you, bitch?
I have friends my own age. That whole thing was bizarre. But I'm really intrigued as to Miss Wong. She said that she was a crossing guard before this.
Yes.
Bizarre. Weird.
Yeah.
What? And
how did you get this job?
Why are you working?
Yeah.
Go to school.
Go to school. Open the schools. We also get the first kind of insight as to what it's really like for an innie when they get into the elevator. Like, it's really like, you know, because as we said, this is a fully innie episode. You go down the elevator, you go back up. Like, there's no... It's not that it's like they're lying dormant somewhere in a closet. It's like up, down, and you're straight back into it.
I felt like we almost got an insight as to what it's like to be an innie, because as soon as he went in that elevator, I was like, come on, I want to see his reaction outside. I want to see what's going on in the outside world. But we just see the clock just switch. It's back to 9:05 in the morning again. How fucking exhausting must that be? Imagine going up an elevator, boom, right, back to work again.
But is it just like you open your eyes and you feel like immediately refreshed
I
without
wonder.
actually having to like waste your time sleeping? Not to sound like #girlboss or something. Obviously, sleep girls, but because I kind of think I'd like that. Imagine you could just kind of blink and then you open your eyes and you're like, oh, I'm so not tired anymore.
I know for a fact though, my outie would not treat my innie well. He'd just be like, I've been partying all the time.
Now to say, menthol in hand. My innie inside, like, please.
I just menthol and Guinness. That's all I'd have in my throat.
Oh my God, farting up the office like a storm. Disgusting. Have you seen any of the TikToks where it's like in the wellness sessions when you realise you hate your outie, and it's like it's like your outie describes dogs as puppers and says the word adulting, and they're like, are you sure that's the right file? And it's like they're doing this case and she's like, yeah, no, it is. That's your outie.
Oh my God, embarrassing.
I'll link them in the show notes. They're very funny. So he's immediately back to work and he's talking to, it's kind of the other 3 are essentially talking at him, but they're comparing perpetuity wings, which I thought was interesting.
This was really weird.
So Gwendolyn's one had animatronics.
Yeah.
The Italian guys were brooms and ropes.
And plates. No, he had plates of the CEOs on brooms. And then he's like, oh, we didn't have an elevator, we had a rope.
It's correct.
But there's a line in it where he just goes, we were very, very poor. Like, relatable.
Oh, relatable.
It's like your dad telling you, like, do you remember, like, how he got to school? It was like, oh, through blistering winds and scorching deserts.
To walk miles barefoot every day.
We were very, very poor.
And this is when we have the admission from Mark W. as well. He says his whole team was a bunch of dirtbags. We never hit quota, not once, but it seems like you really liked yours, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then I kind of feel bad for what like Mark S does because of that line. I'm like, I feel bad then when Mark S ultimately betrays him, because Mark is like, as you said, he's playing the game. He's like, right, I have to get the fuck out of here. And we see him writing a note. And as we know, you can't send notes on the severed floor because they have code detectors.
Yeah,
I
was
was a bit
this.
like, Mark, amateur hour, okay. Yeah. And initially, for some reason, when he was putting in the jacket, I thought he was leaving it for Outie Mark to read. I thought he was but then I was like,
no, but he puts on his jacket and then he puts the note in the other jacket.
Yeah, but I'd see, because again, that doesn't make sense, because even if Outie Mark wore it out, it would be detected in the elevators. Yeah. I don't know why I thought that. When I realised he was like framing Mark W, I was like, oh my God, genius. But obviously not genius, because Milchick intercepts it.
Yeah.
And I don't have the full
I have
content.
it.
Oh, you have it? Okay, brilliant.
The note.
Yes.
Dear Outie, I don't know if this will reach you, but I'm writing to alert you of the heinous conditions in the severed office to which you have transferred me. The branch is run by a shambolic rube who goes by Milkshake, a man whose stupidity is rivaled only by that of the 9 core principles. If you must continue to send me here, please consider strapping a bomb to me so that I may explode both Milkshake and the very spirit of Keir Egan. Wrathfully, your innie, Mark W.
I'm signing off all my emails wrathfully now.
Stunning.
So good. Absolutely
fantastic. Obviously, the Milkshake's a throwback to Mark W. calling Milkshake. Didn't in any real way try to cover it up.
But that's what I kind of and Adam Scott is so good in this scene, because it's like trying to play dumb that it was him first of all, but also being kind of still a bit dumb in the innie sense. Like, they don't know how to do any of this. Like, it never occurred to Mark S that he was going to have to change his handwriting. You know what I mean? Like, it was just, you get the kind of same sense of desperation that you got off Helly initially, where Helly thought she could outsmart everything and everyone, but she couldn't. Yeah. And you're seeing it with Mark S now, where he's like, oh, well, I didn't write that. And sure, Mark W signed it off. And Milchick's like, it's your handwriting, you big idiot. Like,
the lack of respect for Keir Egan, the lack of respect for the boss, Milchick, and the language used in that note is not Mark S. That is so, like, he's finished with the place. I know he's trying to pretend to be Mark W, but the fact that like, Mark S from season 1 wouldn't even know any of those words.
Yeah.
Because he loves the place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just, I think that was a real inkling as to these are his real feelings and he's changed.
Yeah. Mark S wants his team back, and needless to say, like, the team that he now currently has are raging at him because they thought they were all getting along fine, and he's again trying to stage this weird coup that has been a bit of a flop. Mark S is demoted. He's no longer department chief. Mark W becomes department chief. And that's when Mark says, Mark's kind of laughing, Mark S. And
this was genius.
Milchick's like, what are you laughing at? And he's like, sure, you haven't even seen what I've done at the kitchenette yet.
Yeah.
So they all turn to look at the kitchenette.
And they run towards the kitchenette.
Sprints. He's like, bye-bye. He's going to Milchick's office because he wants to speak to the board.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Does he ever really he only ever meets the board with Cobel, isn't it?
Yeah. He knows the board are on, like, the speaker in their kind of...
Why the hell did he run to the board, though? Like, what have they ever done for him?
Desperation?
Yeah.
And when you've been told as well that it's like, oh... Lumen as a whole maybe isn't evil, or like, we don't really know what's going on, but like, you have this person spearheading it, Cobel, like, as he's been told, and which he can kind of believe now, because it's like, why did I see Cobel in the outside world? Why was she making friends with my outie's sister? That's a bit weird. And she has been demented in the innie world, you know, like throwing things at him and stuff like that and screaming.
And I suppose Milchick did say, you know, Lumen has changed in the last 5 months because of you.
Yeah.
And so maybe he's thought, "Grant, I'm going to talk to the board because they've changed and they'll be nice again."
Do you know what I noticed in the drawers in Milchick's office? He's a full shave kit in the drawers. Like
I did notice that as well, actually. Yeah.
Cutie pie. Yeah, so Marquez tries to contact the board through the speaker. Milchick comes back and Milchick is right, fuck this plan hasn't worked.
Yeah.
Like it was clearly like, and I think it was very naive of them to think that Innie or Outie Mark, whatever, as much as Outie Mark probably insists on going back to work, Innie Mark knows too much to start afresh with a new team, even to try and play a long game of, I'll stay here, be a bit of a snake in the grass and maybe try and figure something out.
God, you wouldn't be arsed, would you?
Yeah. So Milchick's like, okay, fine, you're getting what you want, I'm bringing you to your team. So
but he do that, or he kind of like fires him, doesn't he?
Mark thinks he's getting fired.
Yeah.
So he brings him to another floor and we see a painting in which 4 people are meeting Keir and Keir is a sword.
Do you think this is the same day?
All happening the same day?
Yeah.
No, it's in the next day because sure he went up and down the lift.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
I think it's at least a day later, if not 2 or 3 days later.
Okay, yeah. Sure, I suppose
But again, time, like I'm not even sure if I'm still fully on board with the 5 months thing, you know?
Yeah, I get what you mean. So he goes back to being normal Outie Mark and then comes back to work and he comes, but is that the same floor? Is it the same build? Is it the same area? Because there was always a clock there and now all of a sudden there's this giant painting.
Yeah. God, the whole office layout, I wonder if they've changed the whole office layout purposefully as well because they had kind of tweaked it with that map that they were recreating, you know? Maybe. Anyway, this painting is called Keir Pardons His Betrayers.
Yeah.
And sure, who's in the painting?
Who is in the painting?
It's the 4 of them.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
I didn't see Helly. And I didn't really see Irv, to be honest. I saw
Dylan and Mark. I'm going to bring this up.
I saw 4 men.
Because I do agree with you that it felt like they had obscured one of their identities, but it definitely seems to be the 4 of them, or that's what it's trying to portray anyway.
But the sword that Keir has blood on it.
Yes.
And it looks like he's beheaded these 4 people, but it's called. What did you say it was called? Like he forgives.
Keir pardons his betrayers.
Keir pardons his betrayers, but like he didn't pardon them; he beheaded them. They're the only people in the thing that don't have a body.
Yeah, so I have this description from the Severance Reddit thread as well. So the scene is quite different from the actual title of the painting. The 4 innies are buried in the hot sun, unable to move. This is an old way of killing your enemy. They slowly die of thirst. If they were buried near an anthill, the ants will bite them. There's an army in the background, ready to march. They're led by Keir, dressed as a general with a halo and drawn sword. It looks like there's blood on the sword, as you said. It looks like Keir is going to behead them. This is Keir victorious over the innies.
Do you think
this
they're
is
buried?
Keir marching forward. Yet the title is Keir pardoning his betrayers. Keir being gracious in victory, commuting their sentences. The innies in the picture aren't grovelling for forgiveness. It's kind of hard when they're buried shoulder deep.
Right, so they're buried. I thought their heads were cut off.
It seemed like they're buried. Why isn't it showing up a picture when I Google? But I can't find a picture. I'll go back and look and I'll put it in the group chat on the Patreon and maybe we can talk about this a little bit more. But yeah, I do still think it's the 4 of them, but I actually take your point that not all of them looked bang on. And I think if any of them were going to not be bang on, it would obviously make sense that Helly was one of them that wasn't.
That's fair. Yeah, I could see that. And then we start to see our friends again, which was really, really nice. So Dylan comes in first. He says, "Does it work? Did it work?" And he says, "Yeah, it works." And then is it Irv comes next?
Yeah, meets Dylan, meets Irv. Irv is obviously banging on the elevator door.
Broke my heart.
Because Audi Irv has gone to Bert's house and is banging down Bert's door, calling for Bert. Yeah. Audi Bert. Audi Bert, who does not know Audi Irv. No. Who doesn't know any Irv. Beyond. The show is so confusing. He's banging on the elevator and it's like they've just woken up.
Yeah.
So then it's like, where were the 3 of them? You know, like this is the whole 5-month thing where I'm like, where have they all been?
Well, they haven't been.
Do you know? And I know it's like a thing of it's good. This goes against what I just said, where it was like they don't lie dormant necessarily. But I'm like, why did Mark get the extra few days to? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where were the 3 of them? What were they doing?
I don't understand what's going on there. Is Mark tougher to deal with than the rest of them? Is he smarter?
Yeah.
Do they have more to lose with Mark S?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And we see them come through, and there's obviously like a plan to like walk back to the office or whatever. And you have Mark S like looking at this elevator door to be like, where's Helly? Where's Helly? Helly needs to come through. Helly eventually does come through, and he says, I was so worried about you.
Yeah.
And Irv locks himself in the bathroom because he's obviously Troms, needless to say. And that's when Miss Wong appears again, and she says, right, it's time to go to the break room. So you're like, okay, so now they're going to get punished. Like, this is like, they're going to get the ultimate punishment. They're all in there. They've made the break room even worse. It's going to be so terrible.
Yeah.
This is what Milchick was on about. But it's actually not the case at all.
We did have one funny line in this scene, though, as well. We had, which I always feel like I need to go back to, because I'm like, whenever it's funny, it is very funny. Where Mark S says to Dylan, apparently we're like famous on the outside. And Dylan is just like, like all of us equally, or like one's like the leader. I just like, so Dylan.
Zach Cherry gets the best lines.
It's amazing.
It's so good. So we're at the break room, but it's not the break room we know or have seen previously. It's shiny, it's new, it's like kind of like a cinema, like a projector room you go into in a place. The technology is like slightly newer. I think that's interesting considering what we've talked about last season with how old everything is usually.
It is like still so incredibly aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
But in this break room, the new break room in the cinema room, there's 4 posters. And like you'd have, like, when you see on TikTok like a man cave, and it's like a guy who has a projector down in his basement or whatever, and he always has posters, and it's always Interstellar. But like...
Not the read. Shade.
But that's like what he kind of they have in the break room. He has these kind of posters dotted around the place. There's 4 posters, okay?
Okay.
There's one of 2 people drinking.
Yeah.
And the caption on the poster is, I'm a frolic-aholic.
Yeah, I saw that. I have that written down.
I was kind of thinking, is that shade at Mark being drinking on the outside quite a lot? Because it's 2 people, but they're obviously both they're kind of mirrored almost. One of them is kind of dressed as like a jester, I want to say. And one of them is dressed in whatever. So I thought maybe that's a nod to Mark. B, Evermerry, B as in the bumblebee. And it's Keir as a bee, some sort of creature. And it doesn't really say much. There's another one. And the caption is Grin and Baird it.
Yes, I had that written down as well.
Baird is a former CEO.
Yeah.
And obviously that's a nod to Grin and Bear It, which is like what you'd say when someone's torturing you, I'd imagine. Grin and Bear It.
Yeah.
And then the final one, the final poster that I nearly died at. Hang in there. And it's a photo of a man holding 2 switches. One on the left arm and one on the right arm.
I totally missed that.
It's Dylan unlocking all of them on the outside. And it's hanging there. And I was like, look, I was zooming in. I was going, where have I seen that kind of silhouette before? And I screenshot it specifically for you, Fionnuala.
Incredible.
So
thank you.
You can enjoy this.
The silhouette.
It's kind of, because it's not really a picture of him.
No, it's not a picture. It's like an illustration or like a photo.
Yeah. Of what do you mean, a photo?
It kind of looks like he's also going into a lift or something, doesn't he? Or like, what are you trying to get at? I feel like I'm not picking up what you're putting down.
Okay, so in the last episode of season 1, where Dylan stays behind to unlock them, he has one arm stretched out for this switch, and he has the other arm stretched out for this switch, and he's like that, and that's what I think is happening here in the hang in there.
Oh yeah,
it's a photo of Dylan waking up all of them. Do you remember he's like a scarf to hold one switch?
This seems incredibly obvious now. So like every poster like references
something maybe.
Helly.
I didn't know the B one.
I'll look that up after the fact, but
and then with the Grin and Bear It.
Oh wait,
one.
So there's 4 posters.
Yeah, there's 4 posters.
Yeah.
So there's Grin and Bear It, which is like they might not all be
but again, is it? Yeah.
And I'm a frolic-aholic. It's hard to see what that poster is, but it is 2 people drinking.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I was really like with the hang in there one. I was incredibly like, I was
So
like,
they're
yes, I've caught something. I've seen something.
So they're really trying to like, what's the word? Like, do you reckon that's them trying to like, how am I phrasing this?
I
Like,
don't understand what they're doing. I don't understand. Like, if Dylan was to see that, he'd be like, that's me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just an Easter egg for people like freaks.
Yeah.
Like me. But I thought it was amazing.
So we're in this room and they've shown this like animated video that's kind of like an infomercial thing.
Yeah.
Lumen is listening and Mark says, oh, or I think there's a conversation where it's like the board reconsidered my words and Milchick's like, guess so.
Yeah.
And we learn a bit more about Lumen, and this video seems to have been made in reaction to the uprising, the macro data, like the Severance reform thing. And it positions the Lumen building as like this, like it's very much like the building is a nice place to be, like it's a character, it's a warm, jolly, funny. If you saw, and Ben Stiller said this was the direct reference for it, if you've ever seen, it's not claymation, but it looks like claymation.
Yeah.
There's a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like old, like movie.
Can I jump in here?
He can, yeah.
This is me off camera, by the way. Sorry, I will I said I'd no to a mic this week, but
you were offered.
I was offered, but next time, right? Do you think I feel like it's definitely Ben Stiller who's voicing it, right? But
the building.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounded like it could have been Keanu Reeves either.
I heard it was Keanu Reeves.
It feels like immediately I was like, it's got to be Keanu.
I need to go back and listen to that.
I heard it was Keanu Reeves.
I'd say it's Keanu Reeves because I think Ben is going to be the voice of Keir throughout it all. You know,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
But it to me it felt like almost a Zoolander-esque voice that you might hear. But like if it's not that, it's 100% Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. This is where we learn Lumen operates in 206 countries, and it basically shows what happened during the macro data uprising. And they're watching it. Irving's kind of laughing because it's showing them like running through the halls, and it's basically positioning it as like, you know, like Lumen, we love this to be a good place to work, but we also had these like innies, and they shone light on this issue. Yeah. And like, we're so happy they did it because we've been able to make changes. They also show Helly and Mark kissing.
Yeah.
Now, the scream I scrumped, girls. The scream I scrumped. I was like, wow. I was like, this is... Because Dylan's like, what the fuck? Like, he's just... It's so good. So they're and there's also really good, like, you have Irving saying, like, let's burn this place to the ground, whatever. Yes. So they're like, in recognition of this uprising, you know, we've made a few changes. We have new snacks now, including cut beans, Christmas mints, fruit leather, and salsa.
Interesting.
Yum.
Yeah.
And there's also new perks. So you can get like hall passes. You can get an event that is pineapple bobbing, which
seems incredibly difficult.
How does that work,
and
girls?
Sore.
I'm getting mouth ulcers thinking about it. And a mirror room.
Yeah.
And then it ends. And then it's just like, okay, so like that was the solution to what happened.
Yeah. That whole video really confused me. Like, I remember we were kind of showed these videos in like when I worked in Dunn's. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, hey, this is a great place to work. And like, everything's really happy. And you're kind of like, it's just very, very incredibly corporate. What I don't understand is why would you tell new hires, because this obviously is a video they said we're going to show to new hires every time they hire someone new. Some people revolted and we rewarded them for it by making them this movie and also, you know, putting newest incentives in and making the place a better place to be, whatever. Then why would you have the character of the building, who's this really jolly character, like, hey, this is a fun place to work, screaming at a worker, don't run in my hallway. He's like, because it tickles. What?
So funny.
That's terrifying. And I thought it took the courage, was a word it said. It took the courage of 4 severed workers, being the 4, our 4. Rewarding them for breaking the rules, I was confused. I don't understand what this video is meant to help.
Yeah.
It's weird, it's corporate, it's very Severance, it's very Lumen, and I love it.
Yeah.
But it did confuse the hell out of me.
Couple of other things to note. We've got red, blue and green projector lights on the projector, and there's also a yellow balloon in the corner of the room that's like very prominent, like a balloon light nearly or something. Dylan claps at the end of the video because I think he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
Just
that.
fair enough. And that's when Milchick says he respects them and he says they can go back up if they want, but if they start work on their file, he's presuming they're staying and they can stay. And he also says there's no cameras in the halls anymore, or in the offices, or microphones, because he's giving them like the benefit of the doubt. Like it's a new lumen, everything's changed.
He says no ill will if you leave. Maybe I'll even buy you a drink in a bistro one day. Respectfully, what are you talking about? What does that fucking mean? What does that mean? You're not a severed man. You're normal. Don't talk like that.
The outies also wouldn't know who Milchick is. Oh, no, sorry, they would. Would they?
No, the outie wouldn't have a clue who Milchick is. Maybe I'll buy you a drink in a bistro one day. I was like, is that a code word?
But no, I think it's just to infer that like they could, like, that they would know on the outside even though they wouldn't. You know what I mean? I don't, or to like make it out that it's like they're not, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I wonder, is that bistro Pips?
No, probably.
That is a very niche reference.
Yeah.
But if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So he leaves the room, and that's when they all decide to discuss what happened. And they don't know whether they definitely want to discuss because they don't know if it's true about the microphones. So that's when they decide like they're going to whisper and they're going to do it. So Mark explains what happened when he went up and what he saw, and that Miss Casey is actually his outie's wife, who, as far as they're concerned on the outside world, is dead. He thinks it's really weird. And also Rickon is his brother-in-law, because Rickon is this now like idol in the innie world.
Yeah.
And we also have, Dylan didn't go up, so he doesn't need to explain. Irv doesn't want to share. Irv isn't sharing what he saw. He's like very upset about it, which we'll get back to. Helly lies about what she saw.
Yeah.
She's very blasé. She says when she came through, she was in a boring old apartment and she was wearing boring old clothes. She was wearing like a band t-shirt or a t-shirt that said something,
Save the Gorillas.
Save the Gorillas. She went outside to try and communicate with someone, a gardener. The gardener didn't really seem like he took her seriously.
But he said he was dating a cop or something.
Dating a cop, related to a cop. So they went to the cops and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Interestingly, though, Irv picks up on the fact that she said she spoke to a gardener.
Did he pick up on it, or is he just like, oh, really? Like a night gardener? That's bizarre. Is that a thing up there? Did you think he was questioning her? I didn't think he was questioning her.
Maybe not questioning her, but I think he thought it was weird.
Yeah, I definitely think he thought it was weird, but I don't think he was questioning her. I think that whole scene of him being like a night gardener was for us to be like, yeah, that's weird. Why are you lying?
That was for our benefit 100%. That wasn't, because I think you see like as he goes on to explain, he says it's not our world up there. I think he doesn't know his head from his ass at this point, respectfully, because he's just like, everything that I thought was a lie in some ways, and like he can't understand it. But nobody else picks up on that, and she passes it. She's like, oh, the gardener must have another job during the day. Nobody else picks up on anything else. And Irv, as I said, is struggling to tell them what he saw. And he gets up and leaves. Before we get to Irv, what do you think's going on with Helly then? When you heard this initially, when you heard her lie, I'll talk you through my thought process. I heard this and I goes, oh, she's morts that she's related to an Egan. Or at the very least, she doesn't know what to do with the information yet. So she's just like deciding not to say anything. And also maybe it's a thing of like, she doesn't trust Milchick, she doesn't trust the building. Yeah. She's keeping it to herself. I
also kind of had that thought. I was like, okay, there is a potential that she's just absolutely mortified that she's ashamed of it, or she doesn't want to know because she doesn't want them to know because they'll think that she can't be trusted because she's an Egan. My other thought, and I know it's not an absolutely breaking news thought, like it's kind of something that a lot of people online are saying, that this isn't Helly, this is Helena, and I think that is it's very potentially true. I think that why would she come back as Helly? Why would they let her come back as Helly? If she's pro uprising and pro, the macro dad uprising. And just blew the whistle at a huge event that was promoting Severance. Exactly. Why would they let this loose cannon go back down to potentially cause them even more hassle? So I wrote down a couple of things. I wrote down, she lied about what happened on the outside. Helena. Says she doesn't owe her outie anything. That's Helly. Still seems into Mark. That's Helly. Wants to stay. That's Helena.
But that's so do you think she's been like slightly, because obviously again, not to explain the point of Severance again, they're the same brain.
Mm-hmm.
Has she been like slightly retwigged that it's like more of Helena and less of Helly, or is it fully Helena? Because I'll tell you what I think. I think it's fully Helena, but she's now just been briefed on like, you know, your Helly is having this like slight office dalliance with Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
And like Marcus is maybe she hasn't gotten the full story as to, you know, I don't think they've explained the gem of it all and like whether they're interacting with dead people, because I think anyone with any kind of semblance of a brain or heart would realise how ethically ambiguous that is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she's been told they're having a little office dalliance. Like, can you play along? Can you just play along, and then eventually we'll pull you back out when things maybe settle again.
Okay.
I think it's fully her, because like how do you like.
The reason I don't think that is because when Helena or Helly talks about Mark and Miss Casey, she says, well, you're not really married. Like, you're just married on the outside. You're like, your outie's married to her, not your innie. And she talks about the ring. She was like, your outie bought the ring, not you. That makes me think jealousy. That makes me think she actually really is into Mark. So, and I know that goes against my theory of she's Helena. However, I think somehow she has managed to have both. She has managed to have her innie memories and her outie memories. And her outie memories are way more powerful than her innie memories. Because she's only really had like a week as an innie.
Yeah.
Whereas she lived her whole life as an Egan. So I think somehow she has both.
Yeah, I'm not sure I fully agree, but we'll see how it pans out, and I'm interested to hear what the other listeners think. I think it's fully Helena, and she's been briefed, and it's very much like, you need to go in, you need to be in love with this man so that he forgets about Miss Casey. Like, I feel like there's a plan to build a life in the office that he is just like, he's like, well, my love and if I can have the love in a relationship with Helly or in the office, like, I don't want anything to jeopardize that. That's just what I think.
Helior wouldn't. I don't think Helior would go for Marcus. I don't think Helena would go for Marcus. I think she looks at it.
That's what I don't think so either, but I think she's willing to play a game because of.
And the other thing, though, is that we will say that line of, we don't owe our outies anything, is a real tell, I think, as well, of, is that Helly? Because that's exactly what Helly would say. We don't owe our outies anything.
Yeah, but I think. Is she just saying it though from the position of she actually feels like that about the innies, but she knows she has to say outies to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, they've basically, that was a long way of saying they've both decided they're going to stay, because she's like, I'll help you figure whatever is going on with Miss Casey. I'll do it. I'll help you. I'm here to help you. Because Dylan has gone on to get Irv, because Irv has run off.
Yeah.
And Dylan's like, we can't all go together. This scene, incredible. Yeah. Really, really good work with John Turturro and Zach Cherry. It's just really beautiful. Irv tells Dylan what he saw. Irv is like, Bert's on the outside, new fella, or just a fella that isn't me, what's going on? And he's like, I have to leave. And they're at this door in which he can leave. I think I have written down what the Bard's threshold restricted, I think, is what what it says above the door.
Oh, I didn't read what it says.
It says severed, SEVRD.
SEVRD?
Yeah, severed threshold. Because when you cross it.
Oh, so it doesn't say Bard. Okay, so I can't read. Perfect.
Is it the? I presume it's the emergency exit. Like,
it's the same one from series 1.
Yeah,
but I didn't. Did that one have a sign?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe my memory is not.
It's the one Helly keeps going through and then coming back through.
He's at that door. He's desperate to go out. He's like, I've essentially nothing. All the things we've said previously is nothing to for anymore. He's like, get me the hell out of here. I'm not doing this. I don't want to be here. And Dylan's like, Bert wouldn't want you to do that. Like, would you not just try? Yeah. And again, it's just like, he tells Dylan he wants to leave. He wants the pain to be over. And this is also the first time he talks about the black elevator that outie Irv is painting over and over and over again. And it's just like, and then Dylan's like, well, surely that's enough of a reason to stay, and like, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
We also have this really great line from Irv, and I did like tear up a small bit of this, where he said, because obviously Dylan's like begging Irv to stay.
Yeah.
And Irv says, I'm your favourite perk.
Yeah. And Dylan says, Don't bring them into this as if they're people.
Honestly.
I want to go to this scene and talk to you about it because I've written down, Irv tells Dylan about the paintings, the black hallway that we saw Miss Casey went down to go to the testing centre.
Yeah,
testing floor at the end of season 1. Why does Irv know about this? Because innie Irv doesn't know what it is. And outie Irv doesn't know what it is. Irv has been severed twice, I think.
Okay.
This is a big theory I have. Because why is this something that is living in the subconscious of Irv on the outside, that he's painting it over and over and over again, but his innie doesn't know what it is, and his outie doesn't know what it is, because how would his outie know? We've seen it only in the Lumen building. I don't think outie Irv knows what it is, and we know for a fact innie Irv doesn't know what it is. He has to have been severed twice.
Yeah. Well, Mark would have said that Miss Casey went to the testing floor, but Irv wouldn't have seen it unless he'd been there previously. So
but
he
Mark
must have
has
been.
never seen it.
Mark has never seen it, no.
Well, how would they know? You know, he was like, no, this is a dark
But that
hallway.
would also make sense as to why, you know, the way the veil and like the mesh between them, if he's constantly being re-severed, we'll say, or again, maybe once you're there so long, again, the line starts kind of blurring. That's why he's having that's why the black goo is coming through his subconscious and stuff. And maybe that's why it's hurting so much more. Maybe that's why he's like, I can't go back again.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I'm worried. I'm worried about my man Irv. And I'm worried about them all. The minute I was like, basically, to kind of slightly cut to the end, they all essentially decide to go back to the office. And another theory as to why I think it's Helena inside, and I didn't pick up on this, but I saw someone else say it. She doesn't know how to turn on the computer.
Yeah,
she's like fumbling around with the computer, and I'm like I'm so scared.
The thing I love about Severance, this TV show, is they don't show you anything that is meaningless.
No.
And so Helly turning on the computer, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Like to the point where, let's go back to the very first minute of episode 1, season 2, where we see the purple room. There's a reason you're seeing that. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
As small as it may seem. And I love that.
Yeah. Dylan he's either called to Mr. Milchick's office or he goes to Mr.
He's
Milchick's
pulled
office.
away by Miss Wong.
Yeah.
And which I thought was interesting, because I was like, why is she pulling him away while he's trying to stop Bert from leaving?
Yeah.
And Irv from leaving, because it didn't even seem that Milchick was that. I felt like he was a bit preoccupied.
Yeah, this is another thing. So he's trying to fix his computer because the computer says, "Hello, Miss Cobel," which is where the episode title comes from.
He's fuming. The ego is not happy.
But that's also why I don't think it was 5 months ago, because that, like, Jesus, I know offices take long, especially at that kind of shit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it would take 5 months to sort that computer.
Yeah, that IT department is.
That
lacking.
IT department is flopping, girls. So Dylan has been giving out about Milchick this whole time because he wants to apologise about there was an issue with his belt, or like he was hurt by.
Well,
what happened in that last episode again of season 1?
I think he tied the door closed with his belt, and Milchick cut it open.
Yeah. Yes. So he goes into the office and he's asked if he's going to apologise about his belt, and that's when Milchick says, "Your wife's name is Gretchen. She wanted you to know."
That's cutting. Like when he said that, I kind of my mouth kind of dropped.
Like,
I was like, how dare you say that?
How dare you?
How dare you say
because
that?
we know, like, since Dylan was awoken at home in season 1, he's always been curious about his outie, but he's built a narrative in his head as to what the outie life is like. It's not that he's necessarily questioning it like Gwendolyn is.
Yeah.
He's just like, my outie's strong and like gets with loads of women, essentially.
Yeah.
But now he's questioning because he's like, I have a son. It's like upturned his whole view on this.
Yeah.
And like that's still whether he didn't get to see the outside world beyond that wardrobe he was in. So he's probably questioning it even more, especially after hearing what all three of them have had to say, right? So Milchick obviously tells him this, and Dylan's like, what the fuck, whatever, what he usually says. And Milchick has another door in his office. And he brings him through. And he apologises for not being a better listener. And we're brought into this room that has building plans or like an overview of something called an outie family visitation suite.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's like almost prison vibes, where when you're in prison, your family can come and visit you.
Are you speaking from experience?
No. Just from watching a lot of TV. But so I don't know why. Now, the interesting thing about this is he says this is just for Dylan. He's like, don't tell any of the others because you're the only non-single one.
Yeah.
And they'll get a little bit annoyed.
Everyone else in your department is single. I'd hate for your friends to turn against you after all you've done for them. Says it like would build resentment if he told them.
Yeah. But like the others still have a family, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like Mark has a family, Devon.
Mark has like a baby niece.
Yeah, exactly.
A sister. But I wonder if it like a children and a wife have more leverage.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? It's also interesting. Like Helena must be like quite isolated then in her out. You know what I mean? As much as I consider Helena to be like the quote unquote evil version of Helly, or like that evil side of her. I wonder if she's kind of fucked on the outside as well because of her family and because of her lineage. You know what I mean?
Will we see an actual character of Dylan's wife, or will we see Gretchen? Or will we see a fake Gretchen?
You know what they keep talking about? In any of the promo that I've seen, Mike did an interview with the cast and he's talked about like, can you give me an episode number that you're really excited to see the reaction to on social media? And they all, it was John Turturro, Brit Lauer and Zach Cherry, and they all said 4.
Really?
And I think it's specifically to do with Dylan, Zach's character, just based on the way they answered.
Oh God.
So.
That's only 3 weeks away.
Yeah. So there's basically a thing of like, okay, you can do this is the ultimate another ultimate perk again, where it's like you want to see your family so bad, we can organise it, like, but you have to play ball and you have to not tell anyone. Cut to Miss Wong. Miss Wong is playing like what looks like Connect 4 or Tetris on the computer. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did. But what I thought from it was it's the same energy as the lads in Macrodata Refinement.
Yeah, it's like she's filing stuff, but it's a game format nearly.
Yeah, but so is the lads. Like, so is the Macrodata Refinement.
Yeah, it's kind of like Minesweeper.
Yeah, it's that kind of it's that old school kind of game vibe. But then we see her go to her drawer and take out an actual game. And I loved it. I was playing this kind of game over Christmas where it's just like a little button that you can press and it blows air into it and it'll throw a ring over a spike. But the spike is Kier's hands.
I used to have one of them when I was younger, but it was Sonic the Hedgehog. And
Class.
It was so slay.
Unbelievable.
It made me very nostalgic.
So we still see that she's still a kid.
Yeah. But at this point, they've all gone back to the office. Marcus, Helly, Irv, Dylan, the gang is back together. They're working on it. And it's all as it seems, seemingly. Marcus is working on a file called Cold Harbour. And they're looking at the numbers and they're seeing the scary numbers and they're putting them in the files. But as Mark is doing this, he's flicking into seeing Miss Casey / Gemma as he's working on the file. Ultimately meaning, this isn't over. This ain't over. The work continues.
Yeah.
And with that, episode 1 of season 2 is finished.
What an episode.
Thoughts, feelings, any other theories?
So, like, they're all interesting that they're all going to go back to work. The new assignment says Cold Harbour. Miss Casey shows up, as you said. Someone online said that, what did I have written down? I have their work is to somehow fix / make / test the people on the testing floor. Mark was getting rid of numbers. His percentage was going up. And then a screen showing Miss Casey on her file showed that she was 68% complete as well. So I think that she is getting made. So and then someone had a theory online. They said they are refining personalities in MDR. You can see Kier's 4 tempers below each box. Each box is a person. I think the chips hold the innies' personalities. Kier's personalities chip is in the CEO's head, I believe. So I don't know what any of the bottom of that tweet means, but I basically kind of agree with the top half where it's like they're refining their personalities. So every time that Mark completes, like his thing went up to 68%, Miss Casey is 68% complete. So
you think the plan is to eventually bring her back, and it could it be like a visitation suite thing again? But like it just, why would you bring? Is it not quite dangerous to bring her back given what Mark knows now? How do they explain that away? How do they go? She's dead on the. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like Pandora's box for them. No.
Yeah, I know. I agree. There's kind of no way around it. Why would they? But like, there's so many questions as to why they do certain things. Why did they show that video of the building screaming at a man when when it's trying to come across as a nice building and a nice place to work? Why would they have Helly go back in? Why would they have Miss Casey still in the building? There's a lot of things that Lumen does that we're kind of confused about. I have some takeaways. Mark doesn't care about Keir, very clearly. He only wants to play the game when it suits him. No interest in the niceties anymore. Miss Wong has a surname like Mr. Milchek, like Miss Casey and Miss Cobel. She's not severed. And I think Irv has been severed twice. Those are the main takeaways for me.
The Irv being severed twice has shaken me to my very core, I'm going to be honest. But I think you're right. And I'm scared. Where's Miss Cobel? Because the next episode is titled Goodbye, Mrs. Selvig. What's going on? What's happening? What do you think?
Miss Cobel is... Imagine taking a little bit of a sabbatical.
She's on a career break.
Yeah,
she's travelling.
She's on a cruise.
She's in Hanoi as we speak.
I don't know. I would...
Because she knows too much now as well.
She knows a lot, but I think she will definitely be back as a major player. Because I'd imagine she'll almost blackmail Lumen into be like, I know so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where is she now? I'd imagine she's waiting to come back.
Yeah.
At any moment in time. I think she does need help though. Like I think even Lumen can see that she needs help, and even people on the outside are clearly like she needs help. She had an absolute banger in the last episode. Remember before they went to Devon's party or Rickon's party. The girl's not well.
No, certainly not.
So I think she could even be in some sort of place.
We'll have to wait and see until next week.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. David Hammond, thank you so much.
Fionnuala J, thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for listening. As always, we are chatting about this over on Patreon. If you have any theories yourself, tellaflopculture@gmail.com. We're on social media at flopculture_pod. You can get in touch there as well. Until next week, we'll see you then.
See ya.
Praise Keir.